Let's leave it in here like this, Dorothy.
Okay.
And move the pretty plate. What do you think?
I think Ed will have to cut his sandwich up a little.
Okay.
He won't be able to put his sandwich on the plate.
It's beautiful out here. Western Springs is a lovely community.
Well, I guess that's it's one of the older suburbs. It's what built this part of the country was the Burlington Railroad, which started commuter services way back in the 19th century. And across the toll road is Hinsdale, is where the Swifts lived, and a lot of the people. As a matter of fact, they said it's the only railroad station that was ever built by a passenger. The Swift built a little railroad station in part of Hinsdale.
It's still there.
About a half a mile closer to his home than the railroad station.
Swift.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, Dorothy. This is beautiful.
I love this glass. Isn't that beautiful, Harlan?
Oh, yeah. This
That
is
is
gorgeous.
just spectacular.
And this is so sweet of you to
Would
do.
it help if I turn on this light?
Yeah, that might. Yeah, that might be kind of nice. And
Bruce has been so eager to see you.
yeah, you have a seat there. I want to make doubly sure I got you. I can always see myself on video, but I might not be able to see you. Maybe it's smarter to do it from this higher spot.
Can you see that, Bruce? Okay, now.
Yeah.
climb up there.
The only thing I don't know for sure whether the backlight will affect this or not. There must be a.
Well, does that have a light?
No, but it has to have a. Normally, it would have an auto light adjustment. So, I don't know that backlight. It may be smart of us to draw the.
Have a knife or anything?
I think we're okay.
Okay, I think we're all right. That's very nice. Thank
Oh, it's
you.
beautiful.
Oh,
It's so sweet of you to do this
Yes,
for us.
indeed.
I was delighted because we've thought previously that things would be set up with Bruce. And
I know it.
was
We
happening.
slipped through a couple of times, and I was so delighted that it just worked out this time.
So I thought we better hurry up and do it while we all were still here.
That's right. That's right. Well, it's a worthy goal.
Well, you know, Bruce has looked forward to this ever since I've known Bruce, which is about a year. Every time we turn around, oh, we're just going to go see Ed. I've got to see Ed.
Right.
So sweet.
Oh, yeah.
That's my fault, Ed. I didn't move that silly
No,
baby
that's
tomato
all
for
right.
you.
This looks delicious.
This looks fantastic.
Well, I didn't think it was very much until I tried to eat it.
Oh, about two, huh?
There's more there than you think.
I know it. Now, who catered it for you? Do you have a...
We
We
have
got it all running now.
Uh-huh.
Well,
It sure is, so you can
I
start
was
swearing.
trying to remember some crazy stories,
Oh,
and
good.
about the only one that came to mind immediately was that when we went to New York, we stopped in Jersey City to clean up, and
Uh-huh.
there was this Italian barber shop that also had showers and stuff like that, you know.
Bargain night. Excuse me.
And of course, Greasy was had dark complexion,
Uh-huh.
and had been out in the sun a lot, and he was pretty tan. And this Italian barber, and spoke in English, says, where are you people from? We said, from Oklahoma. I said, oh my God, Howard Cease was standing there. He said, now look, so this guy's an Indian, so Christ's sake, gonna cut him later. He's gonna come down on him, he's gonna stab you. And it turned out that he had to call his wife or his son or somebody
To do the haircut, huh? Or the shave.
shaving him, you know.
Oh, this is delicious.
Oh, this is very good. Very good. Well, now, what vehicle did you take when you went back east on that tour? Was it that bus that the picture was
No.
taken? There was some.
Oh, no,
Or that was, what was that? Just the
It was
university?
one of Howard's, PR friends, that he borrowed every, fur coat on the campus. It was kind of a fad at that time.
I see.
Oh, raccoon coats?
And,
I had one.
I have one. I have
well,
one.
that's a fad for men.
Coats.
I have
You
one.
still have it?
No.
Wouldn't that be something?
I have one that my mother bought me for college. That was from the 20s, and it was an ad in Mademoiselle magazine. They had these coats from the 20s, and it was perfect. It had a button here and a button here, and when you put your hand through here, you went straight to the liquor pocket. It was hilarious. I love this coat. It kept me very warm.
They're nice coats.
Well, Howard had a 5-passenger Chevrolet. We had a trailer about the size of this table, and it probably had about 3.5 feet of carrying capacity and height. And Al Yates he was one of the saxophone players. He had a Chevy, what they then called a roadster. A two-seater, about 3 guys could sit in it, with a hatchback with where you put stuff. And that's what we had for transportation.
And there's 10 of you? Were there 10 of you that went back
It's
east?
just a regular,
Uh-huh.
kind of thing. And then things went real well until Harris of Muskogee, his first saxophone, his father dropped dead, and we had to send him home. And the Union Hall sent out, you can imagine, bandstand, that'd get tuned up. Then he'd call an hour as soon. People would come up and request a tune, he'd just tell them to go to hell.
Oh, yeah.
That helped an awful lot, you know.
Yeah, it sure made them want to hire you back, didn't it?
That's right.
Good
And,
grief. This Mac guy had a pretty high need to control situation, didn't he?
yeah.
Good grief. Now, did you play on the way back east at all, or did you just go straight to New York?
Well, we went back to New York on the promise of either MCI, what Music Corporation of America, or the other big one.
BMI or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they would book the band, and they did a couple of times. We played American Legion convention in Brooklyn. It was the damnedest thing I ever saw. There was a couple of guys got killed,
Oh my
Oh my
God.
God.
got thrown out of a balcony.
Wow.
But they had the best lineup of entertainment I think I've ever seen in my life. They had about a 15 piece band of chorus height that their specialty was singing. And you never heard such beautiful singing in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And we had Kate Smith. Now we played, she was just getting started real good then. And she was real nice. We would be in the house band sitting there. We played a couple of her songs, and she was real nice, said about this tempo, and don't worry about anything, you know. And of course it started out with the moon going over the mountain and all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
But she was real fat then. You know, she reduced down a hell of a lot, about 100 pounds.
Ah.
Later on.
Mm-hmm. But that was at the beginning of her career too, I assume, right?
That's why she was just getting started on.
Uh-huh. Where was she from, you recall?
Someplace in Kansas, Colorado.
Okay, so she was in the Midwest, okay. Hmm. Boy, that was
then,
real.
that blew up when we started going home.
So,
And we were a little bit,
Oh, Dorothy, I can do that.
Oh, I can do it.
Okay.
thank Dorothy.
You bet.
we didn't manage our money very well because we had no idea it was going to stop so abruptly.
Uh-huh. Now, and you played the Legion's convention, and then this dried up. There were no more gigs after that,
I think that
basically.
I believe it. Oh no, we
Or did you no, you went north from there, you said, right?
well coming back. We went the big coal mining town in Pennsylvania.
That's hilarious.
Harrisburg,
No, it's Chapel. Altoona.
Altoona.
And
Dorothy, while I'm up, do you think Ed needs any more juice?
we had
Very much. I've got plenty of steak knives here. Would you like to
Oh,
have
no,
mine?
right off of 8th Avenue, Columbus Circle, is a big subway stop. And of course you'd get shot. You down at Columbus Circle now.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a bunch of rooms in a basement in an apartment house. And we'd usually go down, take in the rocks or Paramount, all of the decent shows. A lot of them had never been to New York before.
Not bad.
When I was at Washington, I had occasion to go up there several times. But,
Bruce,
Yes.
I want you to look at that picture up there before I forget it.
Oh my gosh.
That was when Ed was in the band.
Okay. I'll have to get one of that. That is great. Yeah, at OU or Washington? OU.
Well, Ed, what took you to Washington and Lee University?
I was there 3 years.
And where are you from originally?
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. You went back there from Oklahoma. Yeah.
That's where I knew his father.
Right, from the...
I went to Washington Lee 3 years. I made most of my money paying at the picture
At the
show.
movies, right.
And the talking pictures came in. And that ruined the picture show job. And there wasn't enough dance work with our college band. I mean, well, we played all around. Hell, we played a weekend at Princeton. And there, whatever week it was. And, of course, we played all over the Virginia colleges and right there in LA at informals, about what they call informals. Of course, they hired big bands like California Landers and Jan Garber and the Millionaire Son that hired all the musicians of Cats or whatever it was for their big dances. The finals and
Yeah.
anti-dress and the Easter dances and all that. So anyway, I could see I couldn't make a living there anymore. So I went to Norman and Lenny Saville, who was running the Serenaders, I'd been in the high school band with him, and Johnny Rice, I'd been in the high school band with him, and
Oh, okay.
so they put me in the Serenaders, and then I was there for 3 years in law school.
Okay. So, had you finished did you finish your undergraduate at OU and then went to law school? Or had you?
Well, at that particular time, you only needed 2 years, but I had 3 years.
Oh, okay. To go to law school, I see. So, you
But
were...
as far as coming home and somebody mentioned that somebody had to go and get us,
Oh, yeah.
that was
That wasn't correct.
that wasn't right
You
at
said
all.
in your letter.
Now, I'll tell you what happened. As I say, I gave you 2 or 3 reasons why we did not handle what little money we had very well. So when we came back, we didn't miss any meals, but we kind of postponed a few, you know. So we got about halfway through the term, and we were just damn near out of gasoline money for 2 cars. And the bass player was from Lawton, Oklahoma, and he was real big in the Shriners, and expenses that we paid, after we got back, why, almost all the money went to repay the county lot where it was in Missouri.
Well, I bet you were all grateful that you got that way to get the last bit home. Was that, where was it? Arkansas, did you
We
say?
damn near didn't hire that bass player. There was another guy. That's how you know that you can't screw around with fate because.
You sure can. It's all timing.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, when you headed out, let's see, what year was it that you went to New York? Was that
My junior year?
30? 1930 or? Let's see.
Well, the school years and the calendar year. It was after my junior year, which ended in 31. It'd be the summer of 31. I think that's the year Brady graduated, wasn't it? No.
In fact, the photograph was taken in 1931, I believe, of the one that I sent to you, and I have that with me if you'd like to look at it again. But I've been trying to kind of figure out, and you, so when you say your junior year, was that
I mean, I lost
in law school? So that would have been like your third year of law school.
Yeah.
Okay, so you came back then.
No, the junior year in law school is the second year.
Oh, okay.
You're a freshman lawyer, junior lawyer.
Oh, I see. All right.
That was back when we were in school.
Right. So that you came back to OU in what, 29 or 30? I guess it must have been the fall of 1929, maybe.
The fall of 1929.
Oh, okay.
And I got there just in time for the crash.
Just in time for the stock market.
Yeah, that was in October, wasn't it? I think. So,
The crash was about 2 years late getting to Oklahoma.
Oh, good.
oh, okay.
Well, it sounds good, but it's
Yeah.
bad.
Oh.
The first year, we had all of the dates to play that a college band could have, and it was fully booked on the Christmas vacation and all that. The second year, we missed a few, and the third year, there were just so damn many cancellations, and fraternity houses were closing down, and some of the smaller fraternities. And it was really rugged getting through the third year. And they were supposed to take the bar exam in June, right after graduation. And I didn't have $25
to take it.
for the fee. So I played all sick. And one of my best friends in law school, who later became a noted judge in Southwest Oklahoma, for some damn reason he flunked the bar exam. And so it was real cold the next winter, and he came and lived with me at my home, her and mother and dad. And we went through all of the former bar exams and who the examiners were and everything, and we really, I could always learn things very fast, but I'd forget them fast too. But where you're really primed for that damn bar exam, and I was about the third high. It was 1492, Columbus Hill, that was my yeah.
And you have 1492.
You had to have 15.
But then we'd get a question on it like that, and I'd look at Mike, he'd look at it, But that was really
That's great.
a study session,
Uh-huh.
and I never did study much, but between playing my horn and playing poker all night and everything, I wasn't much of a student.
Uh-huh.
But I did have the ability to bone up real quick. You see the way they gave examinations there? It was a pushover, if you knew how to do it. They'd say A, B, and C did this, and so 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 and so. What are the rights of A, B, and C? So I wouldn't exactly know, but I remember cases of now, if A had done this, but so and so and so and so and so, right through the paragraph on this, and if B had done this, you know, you just put a lot of bull crap in there,
Yeah.
but yet,
Sounded right.
it showed you that you knew a hell of a lot about your course.
Ed, when you went to New York to
I
play,
beg pardon?
when you went to New York to play, did your band want to become a professional band and just stay doing that, or did you just do this
Oh,
for fun?
no. In our college band, there were two lawyers. In the Boomers, there were two lawyers.
Uh-huh.
There were two music education majors. They later got jobs in running the music in junior high schools.
Uh-huh.
Harris, whose father died, became a CPA, I think, or something like that. He was.
It's the only way
Oh, I
you
wanna
can
tell
get
you
to
something.
college in those
I want to
days.
tell you something that Harris. This,
Uh-huh.
I don't know whether Breeze was in a band then or not, but
That's what I was going to ask you. I was trying to figure out exactly when he started playing in the
All
band.
of their fathers were broke, and they were just trying to get through school themselves.
Harris was a very good-looking, baby-faced, black-haired guy. No, I don't want him like that.
Okay.
And besides playing saxophone, he played violin, and once in a while, he'd want to play a chorus of the violin. And in eastern Oklahoma, there was an outlaw called Pretty Boy Floyd.
Mm-hmm. I remember hearing about him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of local support. People didn't want much for the Federals to come in and kill Pretty Boy Floyd because he had done things for some people that were out of luck and all that kind of stuff. So we were playing someplace over there in eastern Oklahoma, and we stopped at a restaurant about 2 o'clock in the morning, an all-night restaurant. They did a sandwich and see if they had this coat on and come in and put this film case under his arm. This guy asleep, so we stopped in the Shawnee. And it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and God, you never heard so much noise in your life. Now Ed's called down to the desk, said, my God, we can't get no sleep, what's all that noise? I said, oh, they're holding a moose and ball. He said, well, for Christ's sake, tell them to turn loose.
That's good.
That's really funny.
That's a good line.
Oh, that is marvelous.
Al played around in Oklahoma City, so I had my own band. I got some pictures too.
Yeah, I'd like to see those.
Why don't we go together?
Oh,
Want to go together? Sure, that'd be great.
you go ahead and I'll
be
clean
back in
off
a
here.
minute.
I'll clean off here for you, Dorothy.
You don't.
Oh, yeah.
I hate for you to do.
We always clean up after ourselves.
Yes,
We're
we
pretty
do.
good.
Gosh.
We try.
Oh.
All right, Ed, are you all finished with your lunch? Or do you think you want some more?
No,
That's it? Should I take it to the kitchen too then?
very lightly.
Lighty? Okay. That's good.
Dorothy, I'm gonna box that back up. I'm gonna put all that back in the box for Ed.
Okay, that'll be fine.
Yeah, you might like it a little later.
He will eat a little bit,
A little bit later?
a little later.
Okay.
And then he'll eat dinner, and then he'll eat a little bit before he
Little
goes to
snack.
bed.
Well, that's good. You both look very good. I just think it's good. He said you'd had a little bit of
Since
problem earlier this year.
last December.
Uh-huh. Now, were you in the hospital for some time?
Yes, I was,
Uh-huh.
for Christmas.
For Christmas? Oh, shucks. That's not bad. Good heavens.
Thank you, lot. Come on in.
Thank you, Holly.
Certainly. You betcha.
She said she'll be in a minute.
Well,
Okay, I hope my camera's working right here. Oh, let's see. While I'm close, I'll get a shot of this picture.
And you probably wanna move that camera to the living room, Bruce.
I thought I would, yeah. This is a picture of Ed when he was in the Serenaders.
Dorothy?
Right there.
Are you good opening those boxes? Or would you rather?
See if I can get a better shot of it there that
some saran wrap?
doesn't have quite as much.
Okay. Oh, okie dokes.
Light
Me
on it.
too, I agree.
Great shot.
Carol, that,
Oh,
She
yeah.
got loose a couple of times, and we had everybody in the neighborhood chasing after her. She likes to sit in the window and look at the birds.
all the neighbors beat the birds
Well,
around.
she said she wanted
These
to go
close just a
try
little
to
bit,
catch one, you know.
maybe. Did these close a little bit, Dorothy? I'm just concerned with my
Yes,
backlight.
Ed, will you,
Are they right
close
here?
the drape
Oh,
for
here we
her?
go. I just thought maybe that light was gonna.
No,
What's the
we've,
other one?
our drapes are being,
Right here.
Oh,
being
Hi,
made
there we
right
go.
now.
there.
Beth.
Yeah, I think that'll
Oh,
help the
you're a good
picture a little
kid.
bit.
Oh, you're a good
I don't know
kid.
about this one, but
Oh,
I just take this not to.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Take
like
the
you.
short, try the shortest one.
There we go.
That's right.
That'll help a little.
Oh, she's darling,
There we go.
Dorothy. She's
Don't you think her fur is kind of,
Oh, she's sweet.
beautiful.
Hi, Becky. Hi, Becky. Oh, come here. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're
She's the
stretching.
prettiest color.
Oh, you're a beautiful color. Look at that.
she is.
Almost has kind of a mauve tone to
To
it.
think that her mom and pa threw her out of the house.
Yeah, that's pretty mean.
Yeah.
And she just kind of walked in, huh?
Well, this gal said that she opened the door and it was a terrible night that didn't know whether to rain or snow or sleet
Uh-huh.
or what to do. and she didn't have the heart to toss her back out. But she had a 7-month-old baby.
I've never really used this camera, so I don't know exactly how it works, but I'll sit over here.
Well,
There we are.
I was going to say that
Oh, here's
after getting out of school, the Chicago Junior Chamber of Commerce had a little band, and they were playing mostly for their own amusement. And Lenny Seibel, who was in the old Serenaders, asked me to come and join that band. And pretty soon, they had a good piano player, and they had a terrific bass player who was with the Oklahoman Times, and this Chip Rounds, he had Capitol Hill High School tonight. He had been with big bands, and his old man was a preacher and got him a job. And this is Lenny's house.
Oh, right here? Oh, okay.
Right there. And Johnny Rice. So pretty soon it became Ed White's band.
I see.
And
Now, let me see here.
here's
So now, this is you in this picture? Is this you? Over here? At the end? And then you?
Chip Brown. Let's see.
Where are you?
Maybe I'll not
You might not in that band. I don't know. I don't see you. Now, this was the Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce sponsored band.
No, this is my band.
Okay, this was your band in Oklahoma City after
Yeah.
you started practicing law.
Yeah. Wasn't much law.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm in there someplace. But
This looked kind of, you wore glasses then, didn't you? Or did,
now this is a letterhead that we had for my band.
oh, this was?
That's the only survivor of that.
Oh. Now, of this same band?
Yeah.
Is that the
Then
same
here's
band?
another.
Oh, wow. Oh, man, Ed, that's great. Oh, those are wonderful.
We had the best band in town primarily because it was the only set band. The other bands, you'd hardly ever have the same personnel on 2 successive nights.
Uh-huh.
And so finally, I just quit it and then changed my union card over to, and they fined me $50 for being late or something.
Uh-huh.
And just became a sideman with, there were 2 or 3 that worked a lot, there were an awful lot of conventions in Oklahoma City,
Uh-huh.
and there were a lot of dance clubs, people that would have a dance once a month or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So you always work a couple of nights on the weekend. Hell, we paid for a house and 2 kids
Uh-huh.
playing. And as a matter of fact, when I took a job in Chicago in April of 1950, up to within 6 months of that time, I was jobbing around with this band or the other band or something, and if somebody in the stage band at the Orphan Theater got drunk or something, I was always they'd call one up there, George, you're driving up, hurry up, hurry up. Some damn guy come in and said, well, this singer wants us to have a load up, you know,
see.
And that came a big bone of contention because you're sitting there on WKY that goes all over the damn state, and you got a 7-piece band, and they say, now, wouldn't it be nice for your next party? Wouldn't it? So there was a hell of a fight in the union between the regular band leaders and the radio stations, and God, I was a lawyer and I was supposed to know everything. And the guy with the Oklahoma Publishing Company who owned WKY was there, a little twerp, Edgar, what's his name? And
Give me a while to think.
I said, well, I can see where you're being sandbagged into having something that you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
Said, but I think that these other people say that it's unfair for you to advertise yourself and call such and such a number and everything in competition with them. And I said, now, I think that you should either pay for that advertising at your regular rate that you do for a moving picture or any other form of advertising, or give all of the band leaders here
Equal time.
a free
Yeah.
commercial.
Uh-huh.
Everybody was mad at me.
I bet they were.
But that, and you see, the hell of it is that the guys that are depending on music to make a living, if they would have a night that they weren't working, then by God, they'd want Tackett or Bonnie Spencer or something to hire them. You know,
Uh-huh.
they want to double dip the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And, so that thing really created a lot of questions and hard feelings for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, it's probably more just the economy, you know, and people were so desperate for the money,
well,
I
yeah,
would think, and coming out of the Depression, even
That's right.
during the latter part of the Depression, people, psychologically, people must have just been stressed constantly.
The hardest part was coming out.
I
The hardest part was coming out of the depression itself. You just kind of went off the top to the bottom, and then it was a hell of a rough climb back up.
Yeah, it would have been. Now, the union, you've mentioned the union several times, and I noticed when I was reviewing some of your materials, when did you first join the union, or were you forced to, or asked to, or?
well, I joined the union when Steve had some idea. There was a barber in what's about the first town in Kansas when you go north on 77. He had a little outlaw union. So
Oh, he did, okay. Kingman? Yeah, it might have been Kingman.
no,
Or,
well anyway,
okay.
so we all joined his union. It cost us $7. And so anywhere we'd have to, but then when I got out of school and wanted to go into 375, they fined me $50 because they didn't know that about the other union. But the thing of it was,
And was that an AF event?
everybody, oh yeah,
In Oklahoma City, 375?
yeah, everybody was working below scale.
Okay.
So in order to fix that, we had this job in Dallas.
You can open it if you want to. You just
His honorable discharge is in there someplace.
Wow. Oh, Dorothy, that's.
you have to treat it with reverence if you open it. My grandchildren touch it. Five of them, let's see, four of them are Phi Beta Kappa,
Wow.
and the fifth one graduated magna cum laude.
Wow.
They read all the time.
Yes.
They just read all the time. But when Mary was real little, they used to bring her down here with her. She's the next to the youngest, with the youngest child, who is now in school in Middlebury. And she said I would buy there were so many of them, that I would buy their school clothes, and they'd come down just about this time of year. And I can recall that Mary, we'd go into the store and we'd lose her. And she would be sitting reading in the book department. And her younger sister, who was about the same size, I would have to try the clothes on her. Because we could never get that kid out of that book department.
Oh, that's great.
And today, I think she's going to study library science. She will graduate next year.
Oh, that's great.
But one of these kids spent 2 years in China. Jan, who is the oldest girl, is a graduate of Washington University, and she majored Chinese, and she taught English. She was in Beijing when the big student arrived.
Oh, Tiananmen Square.
Yes.
Oh.
And they got them out to, what's the name of that island?
Sing.
Where Jan taught the last year she was born. Taiwan. She taught the last year in Taiwan because they withdrew them to Taiwan. And then the oldest boy is married. The second boy is at Washington State on a grant. He's going to solve the question of AIDS.
Good for him. I hope so.
He is, believe it or not, this summer doing an internship in New York City at the request of the health department of New York City.
Great.
But he will go back in the fall, back on his grant. And then comes Joni, and she is a graduate of Washington and Lee. Paul the one who's a graduate of Emory, and Joni's at Washington and Lee, graduated from Washington and Lee, and she spent a year in Chile and a year in Spain, and she now works for Standard & Poor. And
The funny thing about her, the question came up whether to make a co-ed. I fought her tooth and nail. And
Oh, that's interesting.
when you were there in Lexington, there were a half a dozen girls' schools within 25 or 30 miles, and anybody wanted a date on the weekend could have one. And I just thought it should be a boys' school, and lo and behold, my granddaughter had a reverse field and mentioned that how many connections that my granddaughter had at Washington, my brother and his two kids and me, you know. So I had to do a turnabout. But it was a funny thing, Joan spent her high school senior year in Chile on some kind of a Rotary Club exchange, and the now president of Washington Lee, who was then a professor of Washington Lee, was there on a sabbatical, and she got very well acquainted with him, and so he saw that there was no trouble of her being matriculated, and about 8 or 9 months ago, the president retired, and they hired this guy. And Joan is best friends with him, sure that the universities in Kansas felt had similar battles, maybe not over who could attend school, but in other areas of courses they had to have, or something like what is it at Wichita State, or
There's Wichita State, K-State, and
Yeah.
KU.
yeah,
And actually, there's Pittsburgh now as a state university. Emporia is a state university. And Fort Hays State. So they have about 5 universities in the region system.
And
but the government's really got you by the throat. I mean, if you want to teach that we ought to annex China, well, that's what they teach.
Yeah.
Without being socially incorrect, there's a hell of a lot of that going on that's too numerous to mention. Nobody seems to care.
This gal that spent so much time in China teaching, I was talking with her not too long ago, and I asked her if she would like to go back to China, and she said she would love to, and I said, oh, well, do you plan to? And she said, no, I never will. And I said, well, don't you keep in touch with your friends in China? And she said, this shows you what can happen to people. She says, no. She says, I've never heard many of them. She's afraid. She's afraid that if she wrote to them, that they'd start chasing them around.
Yeah, right.
And they are afraid to write to her.
Same reason.
She just, I think it's been 3 or 4 years, hasn't it been, since Jan came home?
Well, yeah, you see, she was in China proper, and about a month before Tiananmen Square, some American people told them they'd better get the hell out of there, which they did, and she went to Taiwan. And she liked it at Taiwan. She liked the people. She said it was a very beautiful country. Had everything, valleys, mountains, seashore. It just had a little bit of everything. And 99% friendly people. And very, very, very much opposed to being taken over by China, but of course that's a losing fight too. And just like Hong Kong, things in the paper today and yesterday, they've already gone back on the fridge of the political and economic setup in Hong Kong. Gold was down to its lowest point in about 8 years, and there were rumors that people in Hong Kong were throwing all of their gold onto the market before it gets confiscated.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And it immediately went back to 335, which is not high, but it was a great increase. So these guys in Hong Kong are smart as hell, and so they go on the futures market to protect the actual gold that they have, you know, and balance it off.
Bruce, as long as it's in
For Ed's sake, we want to make sure. This is Dorothy about Ed's career.
About what?
about
Your career. I heard a little bit about it, but I think we.
But 95% of the claims were disability claims,
Oh, I see.
and you see, you file, they wanted to preserve some kind of state autonomy. So you file with the so-called state agency that operates out of Springfield. And if they turn you down, then you can, what they call appeal. And, but it isn't, in a sense it isn't an appeal because you can bring in new evidence and all that kind of stuff. But we were expected to handle about 30 cases a month, which is a hell of a lot when you
I bet.
have to write you have to write and serve a written decision. And then they can appeal from that to the so-called Appeals Council in Washington, and they're a bunch of knuckleheads that never tried a case already.
Yeah.
Never heard a case.
They're totally removed from it.
Never heard a case or never tried a case in their life, but they did an awful lot of arbitrary stuff. And right as I was leaving, I quit when I was 80. I was that long enough. And there was a lawsuit pending against the Social Security, U.S. government, the Social Security Administration, and the individual members of the Appeals Council for violation of the Administrative Procedures Act, and that is an administrative law judge has absolute independence of any other guy, and so much independent that they're even in a different building from any other office in the Social Security where you go to get a card or to do anything. So later on, that got straightened out a little bit after I left. I mean, this legal proceeding hadn't concluded by the time I left, but as Dorothy says, you can go as long as you want to, but the last year or two, it was kind of a chore to get up at 5:30 or 6 and run down to the commuter station down here when it's 15 below zero, and wait for a bus to go across the loop to where our office was, and then a 2-block walk from the bus. It just got to
Sure.
where it wasn't worth it.
Besides that.
And that was 9 years ago that he retired.
On the bench for 15 years. Doesn't seem possible.
Isn't that something? Yeah, I mean, he retired at 65, and then he was...
Man of many careers.
Yes, indeed. You know, I'm thinking back to Ed's comment earlier about being the so-called expert, you know, on the union and how you felt when you got out of law school. Look at how much you learned through all those years. And I mean, that's really a lot about what the practice of law is about, isn't it? You learn it from practicing it more than you would in school.
I was good at learning things quickly, and every case that come in, you just start from square one, and you learn enough to handle it intelligently. There was one thing that about my railroad job was that they had a rigid 65 and out rule, and people were suing the AARP and the crazy union, civil rights union. Were filing claims that they violated a law about disparity between
Well, you know, it sounds in some ways like that was a good thing for you, though.
At the Interstate Commerce Commission, before which I practiced a lot as well as in a lot of federal courts, the Interstate Commerce Commission had a bunch of administrative law judges that I'd practiced before and I've known a long time and said, well, you ought to take the exam for administrative law judge. And you'll probably get an opening here. And so I did, and I got a real high grade because I'd appeared in the Supreme Court a couple of times. And you file a lot of your speeches and briefs and cases and stuff about this big, and you take a written examination. They give you a satisfaction, you write a decision, and you have an oral exam and everything. And so, in the meantime, I was practicing a little transportation law for an auto driveway outfit. And so then Dorothy called me up one day and said I had a letter there from the Civil Service Commission and I'd passed and everything. So the head guy at the Interstate Commerce Commission, you can take, without giving any reason, any of the top 3 guys on the register. And so this guy called me. I've known him for years. He became the chief hearing examiner with the Interstate Commerce Commission. And he said, now I can reach you, and we should come down here and go to work for it. I said, well, I can't. He said, I don't want to live in Washington. I said, well, we're deciding maybe we're going to go back to some regional offices. I said, well, they've said that before. And he said, here, just please take this. Says, if I can't get you, I gotta take a goddamn queer. The top guy on the list.
So you obliged him, huh? Now, and then what? Did he open up a Chicago office?
Yeah, and then the Social Security at that time, they had made some amendments in the Social Security Act that was going to require a hell of a lot more action. And so I put in for it, and I said, if I can get Chicago downtown, there was a Chicago downtown and a Chicago south, and the Chicago south was in a very, very unsafe neighborhood. I said, if you can get me Chicago downtown, I'll take it. And so they did, and then we had to go to Washington for 6 weeks for
training or orientation. Indoctrination, yeah. That's right. Good point, Dorothy.
No, but the funny thing about it is, in the Social Security regulations, you find me one that supports this view, and I'll find you another regulation in the same set of regulations that supports the opposite view. So
Of course, that's the game. That's the process.
That's the old government stuff, you know.
Almost 4 years ago, but she's getting a little frail.
Yeah, those are the ones we were looking at earlier.
Well, you can take all of them.
The age creeps
If
up
you
on
want.
us so fast.
Well, are these extras?
No, they're not extra.
Oh, well,
I'm not a,
I mean,
For as old as we are, Ed would be nice.
yours on the fall.
I know, I can't believe
I
it.
don't know what the hell.
we never,
Place you like to be when you were with the band.
When I was with the man,
With the,
oh, I don't know, I guess Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. Okay. Well, I just wondered, because, you really did have some fun experiences.
I played the song up until about the beginning of 1949.
Oh, really?
We moved here in 1950, and special course, you had to do an arpeggio and go into the key of B,
Oh, wow.
not B flat
Uh-huh.
or C.
B.
Well,
One of the tougher keys.
I finally found the B and I just kept moving it really big.
You tripped into it, in other words.
That was a, they all laughed at me, that was a little trick he played. Oh, that's Bonner Spencer, you sent me a thing about he was 100 years old.
I did, yeah. And I just noticed this morning in my notes about Bonnie Spencer, and then I heard you mention him, and I was wondering, your connection. I don't know.
About a year ago, he was back in Chandler.
Yeah, he was down in Texas, right? As I recall, and I believe he's the gentleman that I actually called and talked to briefly on the phone. I just have to check my notes. But what did he?
I'm surprised that he lived to be 100 because he was a big BSer. Well, really, he was with the electric company. He was a kind of a PR representative, and they go out to trade shows and stuff and try to have people to change as much as they could from gas energy to electric energy. And he was darn good at it. But he started the boomers.
Oh, okay.
And they wore little skull caps and that kind of thing. And they were about the second band there while he had it. And then he was one of the two, I'll say, leading bands in Oklahoma City at getting jobs in Oklahoma City and other nearby places.
Did I send
As
you?
a matter of fact, he had a hand in breaking up my band that I can be quoted on this.
Oh, okay.
The manager and his wife of the country club, you see that we were all around a pool at the country club. Uniform.
Yeah.
He gave them $100 for the coming season, the summer season, to get the job. They frankly told me that. They told me and kind of hinted, well, maybe I'd go 150 or something. But we had a family type band that the money was split 10 different ways.
Yeah, pretty much shared equally in it.
Yeah. So, but old Bonnie, he was quite a guy. He had a very lovely, beautiful wife. Dorothy knew her, and his wife and Tackett's wife. Tackett had the other band. Were close friends, and they.
It says here that the Boomers was organized in 1923. That was even, and it says by Bonnie Spencer. It says was organized in the spring of '23 by Curtis Smith, the author of Songs and Follies, and Bonnie Spencer. And that was before the Sooners, wasn't it? I mean, the Sooners wasn't organized until I thought it was.
Well, I don't know, but the Sooners.
23 also for the college
became the first band while I was in high school, and they spent a summer in England,
Yeah, you mentioned that in your letter that they played in London.
Yeah, London is full of vaudeville houses. And,
okay.
And they played there all summer. And the funny thing, they did it with 8 men. 2 saxophones, 2 brass.
Isn't that great? Yeah. Yeah, that's really good.
The band and the banjo, not the guitar. And the banjo player Boomers, but
No, you're right. It says here. It says Curtis Smith and Bonnie Spencer in 1923. See, so was he 10 years older than you were?
well,
Bonnie must be close to it, 9 to 10.
8 or 9, or he was.
Yeah, he was 100. I think, I don't know, you can keep these. I may have sent you, that's the Ramblers and the Boomers that was in the 1930s sooner.
Well, the Ramblers had a hell of a good band.
Did they?
They sure did.
Okay. Well, this is the Ramblers, yeah.
And
Now, I was asking Harlan when we were coming over here.
the Ramblers had an arranger who was a piano player that went to New York, and he arranged for some freelance for some damn good bands.
Uh-huh.
And they had a saxophone player that I played with some later on after he came home. That he was with one of the big New York bands, and he was such a nut. He was from El Reno, and he was such a nut that he had the dentist to cut his teeth in a V shape so he fit the mouthpiece better. Oh, he did.
That is a diehard, isn't it? All right.
You remember Dorothy, when they came back from Oklahoma City, they had an apartment up there in the village, and I'd go up there sometime to get a ride with him, and he was deeply in love with this girl from Dallas, and she married some other guy, so he married her little sister. But he married a bundle of money. But I'll say this, never once in all of the time that I played in college and out of college and later on and up until 1948 did I ever play with anybody who smoked a stick of marijuana his whole life.
Wow, isn't that amazing? That many years, that's quite
That's
unusual.
really good.
Well,
In a way, I mean, of course, in the cities, you would have probably bumped into more musicians that might have done that, but that's a pretty good record, you know.
well, old Louis Armstrong came through there 3 or 4 times a year, and you'd walk in the hall, that's all you could smell.
I see. Yeah.
But never was anybody
Now, all
of
those
the
years,
nature even to be tempted by the damn
out of all of your playing years, how many black musicians did you play with?
Not any.
None. I was wondering whether that ever traversed your musical career some.
No, they
You know, I have
they had
about
their
more than
separate,
probably you would have, but
they had their separate union.
they did. They had their own
But,
union.
but they merged with the Oklahoma City union, and I paid my dues up until about 3 years ago, just out of loyalty or
You
something.
did. Oh, I was wondering. That's
So
really
they
neat.
raised the dues. They were in a losing battle with the Oklahoma City Symphony. And Oklahoma City's got some awfully good people, but some of them are diehards. And the group that was given a lot of money to the symphony said now the union was going to strike against them unless they went way the hell up. They said to hell with it.
Yeah.
So then a lady who was a striker was made president of the union, and I wrote to her and I told her that I've been loyal enough all these years, but says raising the dues so high, and I said I just don't want to do it anymore. And so I suppose that you've seen the the Union magazine go from a slick 25 or 30 page paper to a little bad coarse
Oh, yeah.
fire they were in a battle then with Hollywood, and they were going to close down Hollywood, and they were going to close down every club in New York. And I said, I know that you're a good musician, that you mean well, but I can't go with this anymore. And I said, I hope you have a lot of luck because you're,
Gonna need it.
and I'm not in a hateful way,
Yeah.
but I said, you're really going to need a lot of luck. And so finally, they canned the director, the conductor, and brought in another guy, and now they got one of the, you know, all these big towns, they got a good orchestra, you know, a good orchestra, and they're just doing fine. They sell out all their concerts and everything. Now I don't get much since Dorothy's remaining sister died about 6 months ago. Well, we don't have much connection with Oklahoma City at all anymore. I have two nephews, one who's retired from the telephone company and lives in Norton, and the other who's retired, made a lot of money in oil, and lives in Oklahoma City. But I used to have sources that would correspond once in a while and talk about musical things that they knew I was interested in. And some of them were former musicians. The best tenor saxophone player I ever played with died last summer when we got his Christmas card that was from his wife. So I was very sorry they had passed away. His name was Burrhead.
Burrhead.
Actually, it was Sharon Millsap, but he was from a little town in Oklahoma, and by God, and you know, good musicians, most of them have a pretty decent brain. Now, he could play all he wanted to, and for a while he was on one of the radio bands, but he started a musical repair shop, and he went to, where is it,
Elkhart.
huh?
Elkhart.
Oh, Elkhart, Indiana.
Yeah. And he took
That's where Harlan's sister lives.
Oh, well, you know, one of the big music guys, King or
Selmer's there.
Selmer or
Yeah.
somebody. And so he went to that school, and you know, every little town in Oklahoma got a band.
Of course, and he made it rich, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's just like the music man.
And see him, and I'd walk in, he'd have instruments powered up in a corner. That everything, repadding, reeded instruments,
Sure.
and straightening out the dents in the valve instruments, and the sousaphones had to be about, you know, take a lot of rubber mallet pounding them.
Yes, it would. Yeah, they get really dented up.
But after he had been in business about 8 or 10 years, he bought a house. He had no children. His wife was a nurse, and they bought a nice home in one of the best neighborhoods in Oklahoma City. So that's what a damn musician named Burrhead can do if he's got a little drive and they can get finance to go to school on band instruments. I hadn't thought about it. I don't know whether they fool around with string instruments or not, but I imagine not. used to have three guys sitting up on.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And he was a tremendous violinist, and he taught violin, and he could play about as good a chorus as anybody you would hear in a town like that. And he was sitting there for playing, and the guy was passing by, he was having a fight with his wife. He took that fiddle out of his head and broke it over his wife's head. The next day, he found out who he was, and he called him up and says, I hope you have a lot of insurance. Because I mean, it wasn't a shroud or anything like that, but it wasn't a surgical roebuck either, you know.
Right.
Or some crazy things happen.
Yeah. Oh, that's a lot of fun, isn't it? Now, Dorothy, did you ever, you were a musician too, did you ever involve yourself at all with the music?
No.
But you had an appreciation and an interest for it, obviously, if you played
Well,
piano.
I'll tell you the truth. I had, it was my choice when I went into the local school where I went to the School of Fine Arts.
Oh, really? So it was that
Yeah,
central?
that way.
Wow.
I studied for about 12 or 14 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I see. Do you like jazz, would you say?
Yes, I like jazz,
Uh-huh.
but I studied all classical.
Sure. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, did that have anything to do with the two of you? Did
No.
music have anything to do with you getting
No,
connected?
no.
Uh-huh.
It was
It was
just,
all my good looks.
I see. Well, say now, Harlan, would you play the piano for a little bit? Would you? You sure you would? Well, you should come and see this picture. So, here, I want to get a copy of this picture.
Wow, that's gorgeous, Dorothy.
This is Dorothy.
Wow.
That was the day my engagement was announced.
Oh, that's beautiful, Dorothy.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, beautiful.
Betty, Oklahoma photographer did that.
What a gorgeous suit. Beautiful hat. And love those gloves. Those
And then-
American and all that kind of stuff was in the paper.
Have to get Becky too.
beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you. I bet it was a way of in the box upstairs for I don't know how many, must have been about 40 years. And my grandson came downstairs one day and said he was holding it and to be your grandmother.
Oh.
The next thing I knew, the picture was gone. He framed it.
Oh, that's sweet. That's so nice. You know, Bruce, we've been here a long time.
You know, really and truly, these are just for toys.
This is Dorothy's
I knitted a
father's
blanket for
box from being in the infantry.
and the other one is a boy.
From Company F, 14th Infantry, Manila, Philippines, 1900. This is a picture of Company F taken in Manila just as they were returning from the Boxer Rebellion, and Dorothy's father is the gentleman in the middle of this close-up I'm trying to get. Let's see if I can focus it. Oops. If I can, let's see. And these are some of the contents of the box. Dorothy said this may go in a museum in Oklahoma someday. This is the gun belt. It's a beautiful box. This is Ed Street, Chestnut Street, in Western Springs, Illinois. It's a very pretty neighborhood with many old houses. They've been here for some time. I'm shooting this from his front step. And this is Ed's house, 1222 Chestnut. See by the tag on the door that the house was built in 1894. It's over 100 years old. It's a two-story. He says in the attic you can walk upright without even having to stoop over. And they have a Polish housekeeper who keeps everything nice and tidy for them. You can see some of the other large homes in the neighborhood. It's our car, our mother's car. Here's a front-on shot of his house.
Nice, the whole thing. But I've got another tiny piece about a stupid prayer that should be uttered right before the
Are they sweet?
candid cross.
Yeah, these are needlepoint. Are they needlepoint, basically?
Yes, but
Needlepoint.
they're
That Dorothy has been doing for the new great-grandchild that's about to be born this month. And where is that going to happen? Here in Chicago or?
No, that'll happen in Arizona.
Oh, in Arizona. Okay.
Here's the other one. This is one that's still in progress.
Okay.
Work in progress.
Work in progress. That's pretty.
They're darling. They're very sweet. Dorothy, these,
They're not, I don't consider these things worth of art.
but at least, this is some size that you can see. Oh, I have to use my optivisors to do my work. This thing I have to hang over my head.
Well, that's what I should have done with that, and I should have finished that.
You still have this
I've
one?
still got it. I could do it. It's just a bow you put on your bedroom door that says beware of cat or something like that.
Those are
Just
great.
about the time that I finished this one, why I could tell that the cat.
The cat is going to be here much longer, right?
I couldn't present it to her with the cat going. That would
No, that wouldn't have been very nice.
So I decided I'd better quit.
Oh.
That was what you call walking down the drain in a
Well, this-
lolly with the
One of my pet peeves.
Uh-huh.
Now this is from,
The aspirin in water and melted it and poured it in there yesterday.
Well, aren't you really?
But it is minus 2 pieces of grass. We pulled one out for Bud and one for Rat to play with.
Oh.
They like them.
That is gorgeous, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Wish I could spray it with plastic or something.
Just keep it down.
Well, why don't you just let it dry? That's all gonna,
All the things will fall off.
all
won't
that'll
they?
dry.
Well,
I'm not going to touch it. I'll just keep putting water in it and see what happens.
Okay, so we better get a close-up there, huh?
what?
Yeah, he's taping your
Oh.
flowers.
Taping your flowers. Nice job, Arlan.
Our not calling you didn't hold you up for something
No.
after we called you, because then
No.
we were right there, so we went to Trade Vince and had lunch.
So I sat here and
Just had a good time, huh?
cleaned up and what did I do? Oh, I finished my book. That book was good. That
Was it?
F2F. It's one of those that you can read really fast.
This is Mary's backyard. Their in-ground pool, or above-ground pool, I should say. There's a cover on it right now. Back at the back of their lot, the swamp. Little duckies sit out there in the winter. Famous wood cut by Dave with his new chainsaw.
took surface streets across. It was Route 6 across over to 294. We just paralleled that whole
Right.
thing because we didn't know really where it stopped. And went on up, but it made us an hour late. And we called them. I mean, we called them
So
to
they
tell
knew.
them that they knew we were going to be late. And that was fun. So then we got up there and we had a wonderful time talking
Good.
with them.
Good.
They're both sharp, real sharp. He's 89 and she's 87, and they're very elusive and funny and bright people, and we really had a nice time. And I had a lovely lunch with them that she'd had a caterer deliver. I
Oh,
mean, it was,
wow.
little sandwiches all in a little box. And, it was sweet. And so we just had so much fun, and then we left. We called Mother. It was about 4:45 when we called Mother, and it took us a few minutes to leave. So by the time we were on the road, it was 5 o'clock. We get, and coming out the other way, no problem on that, right? We didn't have any problem. It gets congested, but that's okay.
It moves.
It moves. We get into Indiana, onto the toll road, the toll road part of Indiana, at the Portage exit, which
Yeah.
is the first exit, and get out to go to the bathroom. Bruce discovers he doesn't have his wallet.
Oh.
His wallet was at
The-
their house.
Oh my God.
Because he took his wallet out of his pocket to get something, actually, to use one of these little freebie call cards,
Oh no.
and left it there. So we talked a bit, and so we had some alternatives. I thought, both of them seem somewhat housebound in some ways, and just for them to go to the post office, send it, and all that would be
Sounds like a big.
So then while Bruce was calling them, I was trying to think of something positive. So I said, well, we could just take Bruce. Let's take 90 up to Chicago and forget this thing with traffic right now, because now it was
Right.
6:30.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
6:30 already. So let's go up to this 90, get on 55 and go over that way. And, but I said, we could just call them and tell them what's up. We could just go up to Chicago. Go somewhere for the night. Spend the night someplace, have dinner, walk around the lake, walk up the Miracle Mile, have fun, try to make something positive out of this. And then tell them we'll see them in the morning and take them to breakfast. But we decided, no, we'd just go see them. So we went we got it, we just didn't even stay, we just said thanks and stuff. Drove around that little town, which is very cute, Western Springs, this little suburb. And then we went to dinner, and then we drove back. And we drove back the other way, the regular way.
By then it was.
Because there's no problem, it's only going west
But it's a mess.
that it's a mess in there. So we got home at 11:30. We were just about an hour max, an
What's the
hour.
matter? Just not real fast.
We could do a funny picture. We could go past here.
Okay, we have to narrate this too. This is the Penn High School. Is that right?
Then here's Madison.
Penn Harris Madison High School.
This
Okay.
was my 6th grade.
This
School
is-
was named after my 6th grade.
Where Marilee taught school. Now,
Social studies.
Marilee, was this the school, or this looks like a new middle school too, right? I mean, or how long has that school been there? Wow. And there's the front of Penn Valley, that's from Kansas City.
Penn High School, I think.
Penn High School, in front of the school.
Look at all the lilies.
This is our driver, Harlan. Well, that's a close-up, Harlan. That's very nice.
Yeah, I bet.
All right, this is some Indiana corn at 40. Okay, let's see some Indiana corn at 50, Harlan. All right, good. That's at 60. The road to Mary's. What's this street called, Harlan?
County Road 6.
This is County Road 6. And we're still in St. Joe County?
Yes.
Cool.
Yard sale.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yard sale. Now we're in Elkhart County. Road 6. Mary's and Dave. We're gonna watch them splits a lot. Oh, there goes a motorcycle just past us. We must not be driving fast
We're
enough.
not. We're going 5 miles over the legal speed limit.
This is the Elkhart Airport. Resurfacing the runway here, that's why we see no airplanes. Alright, okay, cut.
Right up here.
Now turn. There you go, good. Hold it right there. Alright, this is the infamous board display. Newly painted house. Look at this, the garage has even been painted. Here's the front of the house.
County Road 6.
Hmm?
County Road 6.
Oh, still, huh?
Or maybe this is County Road 6 and the other one was something else. This is
No,
County
it-
Road 4.
Yeah, this is County Road 4, sort of the last leg to Mary's. Yep, this is a road we've been down 5 times. Something like that. Cool. It's like a little cold, too. This is Mary's neighborhood. Mary's subdivision.
That must be a Mountain Ash, yeah. Hopefully they won't turn here. Oh, God.
The famous tree.
She's cutting the grass again. Did that make you?
No.
Didn't like my editorial comment.
Well, I didn't know you were going to make it. I was just turning off the camera.
Oh, that's all right. Doesn't matter. All right, down there.
Splitting, huh? Yeah, I hear a splitter. This says the splitter operation. Right here. It's Mayor Lee. Very tired. We have a lot of wood to split and a machine to do it. the Hummer. Look at those cars, boys, aren't they cool?
Hummer plans.
That's the Army. That's all our excess inventory.
And it
There are federal tax dollars at work.
keeps going and going and going.
Maybe you can get a picture of the Z3 too, Harlan.
Okay.
Maybe it's back on the lot.
Oh, here. Okay.
Yeah. Like that here? I don't think it's there.
Nope, no C3. Okay, so now I can turn this. Okay, we're coming down my mother's street. Everything looks very blurry through here, so I can't tell if.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob. Bob. Hello, Roberta. Hi, how are you doing? You're so pretty. Yeah. Cool. This is Grace. Hello, Grace. Yeah. How about a close-up of you, Grace?